Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Davidson is in the house! Dan Ryan.
Yeah, I got nothing to follow that up. That was great.
It's finally time once again for the Alphabet Super Series. It was Dan's pick, and he went with Viewtiful Joe for the letter V. Did this movie-themed GameCube classic stand the test of time? Henshin a go-go, baby, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now.
I was really curious as to what you were going to go with. I thought maybe Mega Megabot 6, because I like that quite a bit, too. It's fucking... Anyway.
If there's one thing about this game that sticks in my head, it's the just trying to time that bomb while he's just going, Davidson is in the house! Just over and over again, like, dude, shut the fuck up. And then, like, I decided that's the joke I was going to do, but I was like, all right, don't fuck it up, because if you fuck it up, then it's not going to be funny a second time. So
I mean, it might be funnier a second time. Davidson, shit.
Hi, everyone. This is episode 566. It's the week of May 16th, 2025, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the hell else is going on in our lives. Speaking of which, how is it going, sir?
It's been a week, and it's only Thursday as of recording this, but it's been a week. I mentioned, so this is fun. I mentioned last week on the podcast that Tiff is pretty sure she's going to get diagnosed with MS, right? Because of all the symptoms she's had, and that this week, the week that we're currently in, she was going for a bunch of tests and whatnot. And, Monday she had a mammogram, which was great. Her tits look amazing, both outside and inside. They look great on both sides. So that's awesome. So
you missed your calling as a doctor.
I really did. Sir, what do you think? Well, your tits are fucking dope. Technical term. So it was like, all right, we can at least check that box off. There's nothing to worry about there. So then Wednesday, she had a neurological consult, right? So she went to this dude, and apparently this doctor is like one of the top dudes, right? He is the guy who teaches the neurological classes at the university in the city. So like that's the guy that you kind of want to go talk to. Unfortunately, he was like, okay, so you really should have gotten the MRI before you came to see me. And she was like, yeah, no, I know, but this is just the way the cookie crumbled, as it were. This is the order that I could get the appointments in. And he was like, all right, well, we can't really discuss too much, but we are going to go ahead, like, we'll go ahead and we'll do some of the tests now. And they started going through the tests, and he got to one particular test where, like, they do, like, the reflex thing, and, like, they bend your arm, and they do a weird thing, and, like, they karate chop you, basically, and depending on your reaction, they, kind of proceed. And when he did this thing to Tiff, he was like, all right, cool. So we're going to stop there. I see that your orders are for an MRI of your brain without contrast. That's happening tomorrow, yes? And she was like, yeah. He was like, all right, so I'm going to expedite. Yeah. Expedite. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm tired already. What am I saying? Expedite. I'm going to expedite the tests that I would like to run because I want you to get an MRI on your brain, not just without contrast, but also with the contrast. And I would also like you to get an MRI on your neck and on your spine, and I would like those results released immediately. I was like, oh, cool. That's always a good sign, right? When you go to the doctor and he does a test and he's like, oh, shit, we got to do more stuff. And I want the results yesterday. So she went and did that today.
Comes in on his cane and
like, oh, fuck, dude, no. I mean, I like you, Lori, but why are you here? So she went and did the thing today, and we got all the images, and we're looking at them, right? Because they burn a CD for you when you leave. They're like, would you like your images burned to a CD? I was like, no, I'm not from the past. I'd like you to fucking email them to me or something. They're like, no, we can give you a CD. It's like, all right, fine. I'll see if I don't even know if any of my computers have a disk drive. But it did. So we were looking at her brain, and Tiff and I realized that we are not MRI technicians, and we don't know what the fuck we're looking at. So, I don't fucking know, man. Yeah. It's been an interesting couple of days.
Well, that makes one of us. I don't think it's been an extraordinarily interesting week, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah,
I've had some stuff going on, but I can save it for the and I've forgotten the name of it already. It's in the script.
The checkpoint, Kris. Come on,
checkpoint. Yeah,
jeez.
Hey, I remembered whatever that word is. You couldn't remember a minute ago.
Expedite.
Expedition, yeah.
Expedition. Spelliarmus.
Oh, boy, I'm going to need one hell of a Spelliarmus for this one.
Yeah. All right. So, anyway, it's just been a hell of a week. It's been an interesting... and I was like, oh yeah, and we're also talking about Viewtiful Joe. I guess I'll go back and play some more of it again, since I haven't played it now in a month since we were first supposed to talk about it. But whatever, it's fine. Did you pick your game for what do you have? TUV W. Yeah,
I've had that picked out for a while now. No, I know exactly what I'm picking for W.
Is it Waterworld for the Virtual Boy?
Virtual Boy, yes.
Awesome. I'm so excited. Can't wait to
that'll be a half an hour talking about that.
Yeah, that'll be easy for everybody to get. That'll be fine. Oh, man.
The water's black. Everything else is red. It's like,
Moving on.
that mini game Save the People and Cobra Triangle? It's like that, but the whole game, and it's worse.
And it's two colors, nice, though. And it's worse. Yeah, I suppose.
It does have a very nice and lovely soundtrack. It does. Anyway, so this is the Alphabet Super Series, where once a month, unless I bork things, once a month, Dan and I talk about a game that starts with a specific letter of the alphabet. We're running through the alphabet in order, and this month was the letter V, and Dan picked Viewtiful Joe. So, Viewtiful Joe was released exclusively on the GameCube in October 2003, and then later hit PS2 in August 2004, because that's just how big the PS2 was. Everything, no matter how exclusive it was made by a third party, would find its way to the PS2 eventually.
That's right.
It tells the story of a movie fanatic named Joe and his girlfriend Sylvia, who attend a showing of an old Captain Blue movie, get sucked in, where Joe obtains a special watch that makes him into a superhero with movie playback abilities like slow motion, fast forward, close-up, etc., etc. So how did you play this game to prep for the show? What was your apparatus?
GameCube.
GameCube, yeah. Same
like,
here.
not on the GameCube. I shmemulated the GameCube version, but that's the version I played when I was a youngin', a lad.
A wee lad, yes.
Yes.
That's what I did, too. I didn't shmemulate it. I threw it right into my... threw my disc right into my GameCube. We talked a little bit about that a few weeks ago, though. How while playing on TV, I switched back over to the CRT for this. But yeah, this is a GameCube game. That's just I tried playing this on PS2. It was like, it just didn't feel right. The controller was like, this is not right.
It like the activation of the L&R triggers on the GameCube with this game in particular just feel so perfectly clicky in a way that, like, the PlayStation 2 controller, the DualShock 2, just could not replicate, right?
Right, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. No.
So why did you choose this game?
Because it's fucking awesome. Not to give away our scores at the end of it, but I really love this game. I do not love the sequels all that much. They're fine. This first one, though, was just so wild and so different and like just spoke to me on a level that few games rarely do, right? Like, I am a huge movie buff. I go, like, I would be dragging my girlfriend to a cinema to watch, like, old Sonny Chiba kung fu flicks, you know what I mean? Or, like, just some weird-ass, like, series of movies. This game kind of combines that with, like, there's Godzilla vibes in here. There's like Power Rangers-esque, like that fucking Super Sentai kind of shit is in here. There's martial arts in here. It's just over the top and absurd, and I just loved everything about it. And I was like, you know, I haven't played this or replayed through this game in so long that I wanted to fire it back up again, and this is just like the perfect opportunity to do so.
Yeah, well said. I was really glad you picked it, because I also was just obsessed with this game when it came out. I thought it was brilliant. And it was, and I also feel the same way about the sequels. I mean, Red Hot Rumble, I don't know that even really counts, because it's like a weird Smash Brothers sort of game. But the dual was a Double Trouble for DS was very interesting.
Yeah, but
and
it's
Viewtiful
fine.
Joe 2 was cool, but you know, Capcom the fuck out of this game.
They
like,
really
the
did.
First game's a hit. Let's Mega Man it. Let's just drop sequels constantly, and it's like it doesn't really work that way anymore. And this game needed time to cook. Like, this game is great, but it really needed some time to evolve. Like, they really needed to, if they were going to do sequels, they needed to put some real effort into evolving it a little bit. And I don't think they did a very good job of that with the follow-ups.
No, certainly not.
For a first game, it was brilliant. It was, you know, the voice acting was kitschy, and the character designs were all great. The slow-mo effects, the fast-forward effects, the puzzles, they were all very clever. This is a great game.
Yeah, everything just really kind of works in this game, right? Like, and I was showing the kids some of the different, like, the cleverness, like you said, of the way that you would solve the puzzles. Like, there's the one when you're it's like halfway through the game and you're escaping through, like, the missile silo or whatever. And you're like uppercutting the rockets, you know, up into the air in slow-mo, and then switching to the super speed to run under them before they fucking fall down. Or you're charging the one rocket that explodes towards the end to get you all the way up to the top of the stage. It's like, you know, like they incorporated these movie type powers in such a clever, interesting way that made sense somehow in this world, because it is absolutely absurd. Like, everything about this game is just absurdity to the max. However, it just really, really worked. It made a lot of sense in the universe that you were inhabiting. The story really kind of works too. I like where the story goes in here. I love the enemy designs. The boss fights are super cool and interesting. Just everything they did throughout this, like, it's like, what, you know, few hours, right? Runtime. It's fucking awesome. It's so much fun to play.
It is really, once you get the hang of what you're trying to do with the special powers and whatnot. Like, it just feels really good to do the things that you do in the game. I always loved, like, the way the sound design works when you're doing the slow motion in particular.
Yeah,
it's just so, like, I mean, obviously this came out around the time that the Matrix was happening, so bullet time was such a thing, and, like, he basically does the Neo dodge when bullets get near him.
Yeah.
But still, it all just works, and like the way the enemy, your hits hit so much harder when you're in slow motion, and then, like, the way the slow motion just affects the world around you. Like, there's a a dude with helicopter propellers on his back flying around. You put it in slow motion, his blades aren't spinning as fast, so he falls down. Like, yeah,
like it's just so clever.
Yeah, it's an extremely clever game. It's wild how well it all works. And like you get close up, you do that little, like, you know, split spinny kick. Fast
which
forward.
Is like a cheat code for every fucking boss fight. Once you
pretty
get
much.
It.
Yeah.
It's not the most well-balanced game after a while, but it just becomes so fun. You're so overpowered that it's just a blast to go through.
Yeah, it was all about being cool. Like, this is Hideki Kamiya doing his thing, like, early on, and like he was always obsessed. He's clearly obsessed with this kind of character design. Like, look at the Wonderful 101. But the way fast forward. You move so fast that you generate a lot of heat and can set things on fire, you know? Like, and also just Joe's ridiculous early 2000s character design. Like, not Viewtiful Joe, but just Joe with his giant t-shirt and his little beard and haircut and backwards. Like, he's basically like nerdy Fred Durst. And it's like,
100%.
Holy cow.
Nerdy Fred Durst. He 100% is, though.
He is. He's such a like, his regular persona is such a character of that exact era.
Yeah.
Whereas Viewtiful Joe's design is pretty timeless. I would love to see this game remade. Like, I feel like an HD port would be lovely. Like, getting it on NSO or something like that would be lovely. But I feel like there needs to be some. This game would really, really benefit from some cleanup work, because, you know, this is fairly early on in cell shading as a technique,
right?
And even just cleaning this up, when you see the close-up shots of characters in a lot of cinematics, you really see the seams. Like, you see things don't quite line up with, like, the thick lines around their fingers and stuff.
Which was fine at the time, because it fit. It just, like I said, it just all kind of works together somehow.
It does. And, you know, a lot of people were playing these on CRTs still, so, like, there was a lot of blur involved. And when you clean this up a whole lot, it becomes so much more obvious. But that aside, like, there are a few. This is an interesting game for a number of reasons. Mostly because it's effectively a 2D game, and it was still successful. Which was
pretty big at the time.
That was happening at the time. Like, the indie games hadn't really taken off, and like, this was really an early precursor to things like really 2D games didn't come back in a big way, I don't think, until New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which was not a great game, but it was a phenomenal success. And the fact that this game was, you know, at its core a 2D game and still sold pretty well was a kind of astonishing. And now, granted, it had a very 3D look to it. Like, even though the gameplay was 2D, the camera was constantly moving around. Sometimes I think to the game's detriment. Like, there was always stuff, like, way high, and the camera would kind of, like, look up, and the perspective would get kind of strange. But all in all, this game holds up extraordinarily well. It was really fun to play. I didn't get enough time to actually beat it completely. I think I got to probably about the halfway point, and then I gave myself a YouTube refresher while I was working today, and I kind of remember the weird plot twist with Captain Blue and being the bad guy, but he was also the director and
Sylvia's father.
Like, it was a little bit much at the end, but it set up Viewtiful Joe 2 perfectly.
It does.
And then but then it just, this series fizzled out, man. They hit in. What was the release schedule on these? Let's see. I
feel like there were a bunch of games, like, right all in a list, or like right all in a row. I mean,
everything happened between 2003 and 2005. Yeah. 2003 was Joe. 2004 was Joe 2. 2005 was Red Hot Rumble and Double Trouble for DS. So it was this
that's a lot of Viewtiful Joe. All
in
right
addition
in a row.
To a 2004-2005 manga series, and it was just a manga. I don't think there was an actual anime. And then that was it. Like, they were just like, oh, this is great. We're going to hit this as hard as possible to let's just keep making them every 15 minutes. And like,
yeah,
they didn't innovate a whole lot going forward, and people they just kind of filled up on it super quick. And then Capcom basically abandoned it ever since, with the exception of Tatsunoko versus Capcom. It was a playable character. And then again in 2011's MVC3.
Right. I think it was was it Ultimate MVC3 or was it just the regular one that he was in?
It was a regular one, I think, and then it was in both. Yeah, it was in both of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to go back to a time, right, where like this game is it's cool for the sake of being cool. Like, that's the whole point of the game, is that it's fucking cool. It's fun. It's fun to do the shit. It's over the top. It's bombastic. It's all of those adjectives that you could throw at it. It is Capcom just being Capcom and fucking nailing it, right? And making people, like, I remember when the Capcom 5, that, this big thing was announced of these 5 exclusive games for GameCube, and it was like, shit, man, like, they're making these incredible games for GameCube, and then eventually, like we said, everything came to PS2 anyway, except for P&O 3.
Well, yeah, and the ones that got canceled, it was this whole thing, and then it was like, yeah, never mind, and also here's Resident Evil 4 and Viewtiful Joe on PS2.
Because they just didn't make enough money. Like, it makes sense. It's whatever.
Well, that was the thing. Like, Resident Evil 4, that didn't make enough money. That was the shareholders were just like, no, put it on PS4. It'll make more money. And they're like, but we built it for this. Like, no, more money.
More of the monies.
Like, we kind of made deals here, and like this was supposed to be a thing, like for this exact system. Like, no, start porting it right now. Money. Like, oh,
and it's a very good version on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 2, but it is better
it's
on GameCube. I feel the same way about Viewtiful Joe. Like, Dante is a playable character in the PS2 version of Viewtiful Joe, which is not as cool
7,
as
that's the other one.
Want it to be, right? Like, it's fine. It's okay. It's like, oh, I see what you did there, Capcom. Thanks. But Joe is just such a cool character. Like you said, that design is timeless, and it really does have that like Super Sentai flair to it. And you get the big mech fight at the end. That's the part that gives me, real like Godzilla-esque vibes playing through, when you've got these big mechs fighting and there's missiles and lasers and lightning, and it's just fucking nuts. It's just nuts in the best kind of way. So fun. Fuck, I love this game.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's go ahead and rank this puppy.
Let's do the rankings, and we'll see what the listeners had to say about things.
All right. What do you got for graphics out of 5?
Graphics out of 5. This is a tough one because, like I said, there's a lot of like cracks in the armor the closer you get to it. But boy, does it works. I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5 on this one. This is a visual tour de force.
Yeah, I'm kind of right in the same spot. I was between a 4 and a 4.5, but your words have convinced me.
Where is my friggin' spreadsheet? Hold on, I'm finding it.
It's right over there.
Super Series. There we are.
There you go.
All right. Beautiful though. 4.5.
What about for sound?
Davidson is in the house. Sorry. 10 out of 10.
Yeah?
No, the sound design in this game is absolutely a 5 for me. The music is so good in this. I feel like that's something I didn't really touch on much when we were talking about it. The music is so interesting. It's very specific to this game.
Yes,
and it just nails it. And the sound design, I talked a little bit about that before with the way that the effects work, especially slow motion. The sound definitely gets a 5 for me.
Yeah, the thud of the attacks when when you're in slow-mo is just awesome.
The echo on them and everything, it's great. And as you're punching them, cool. Like they just fall to pieces because everything's robotic. It's marvelous.
Yeah, outstanding. Control?
I can't say I have much in the way of complaints about the controls. It feels tight. What about you? Where are you going on control?
This one I'm kind of waffling between like a 4 and a 4.5 because I do think like it does feel tight, but there's still I think I would prefer if there was just a little bit more weightiness to Joe. He's a little light. I feel like I don't know, and I don't know how much that would change the overall gameplay. Or the feel of the game. I just feel like maybe a little bit more weight would feel a little bit better. But, like, doing all of the stuff is great. Like, it all feels good. It feels, it's really, really fun to do. I think I'm at, like, a 4.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on 4.5. Like,
maybe the camera, if we factor that into the control, is a little bit out.
The camera can be a little wonky, and also that this game feels like it should have been on a D-pad, but that wasn't really an option. I don't think.
Yeah.
But because there's no analog movement or anything, but you got to use the stick. So yeah, I'm good with a 4.5 on that.
Okay. And then for fun, I mean, I don't think that's a secret. Like, this gets a 5 for me on fun.
I'm going to give it a 4.5 on fun, just because by the end of the game it was like, okay, I'm good. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but there was like, by the end of the game I was like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over, like maybe 20 minutes before it actually is kind of a thing. So just
I can
barely
see that.
not a perfect score for me on that, but I think it definitely deserves a 4.5.
Yeah. All right, well, that puts me at a 19 for the Joe of Viewtiful.
18.5 for me.
All right. Maybe I don't grade as hard as I thought.
Viewtiful Joe beat... it didn't beat your score for Tony Hawk 2. It beat my score for Tony Hawk 2. There it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
okay.
Right now the highest rated game that I have out of everything we've done so far, though, is UN Squadron at 19.5.
Yeah,
I've got
UN Squadron at 20.
I've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 at 19 and Viewtiful Joe at 19.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So what did the listeners have to say?
What did the listeners have to say? Let's see here. I'm going to have to scroll back a bit just to make sure. All right. So back from the first time we did this, let's
6 months ago.
Just want to make sure I found everything. Let's see. Duroc Pig said, I finally sat down over the last couple of nights to put some time into Viewtiful Joe, and I feel like I am going to be the odd one out who both loves it but also can't quite figure out how this game wants me to play it. It looks great and has a cool style, but I struggle figuring out what to do at times. Like when the bus needs to jump the gap. My thought is to speed things up to make it go faster, but instead you slow things down so the flames on the exhaust get bigger. And it took me a long time to realize you can punch missiles and bullets back, and wasted a ton of time fighting those types of enemies. I still think the game is great, and it could definitely use an HD remaster, but for all its positives, I struggle with the gameplay a bit. Like I said, probably just me. No, not just you. It can be a little bit opaque with some of the things you wanted to do, and there are definitely some puzzles where you would think, like I know what you're talking about with the bus one. I remember when the game first came out thinking, well, that's a little odd. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, you're right. That should have been a fast-forward puzzle, not the other way around. But it does train you for later puzzles. Yeah, where you have to do stuff like that. So, like, there is... I definitely see it from both sides, right? Of, like, we're training you for later puzzles in the game,
where, especially like that one when you're escaping from the missile silo, it is a generous countdown, but there is still a countdown, right? Like there's that pressure of having to get out. You've already gone through okay, if I slow it down, the flame gets bigger. But I also see the counterintuitive nature of that, early on in the game anyway.
Yeah, and that's good point, Strock Pig. I understand and agree with you. Trashman says, I attempted this game 20 years ago or so and remembered having trouble. I see now why Dan likes it so much. The theme is right up his alley. You're a movie buff, and your girlfriend wants to get down in the theater.
Yep.
I don't quite understand what all the collectibles do. Maybe that was given during a tutorial segment and I missed it. I thought my TV was broken until I realized that the game goes static when you're not in your powered form. Yeah, I've always liked that visual effect.
Yeah.
Only after dying to the helicopter for the third time did I realize that you can reflect bullets back at it. I also didn't put together that they probably want you to dodge enemy attacks and then hit them in VFX mode towards the helicopter. After playing for a little more, the game obviously wants you to constantly be getting into VFX mode, which I was not doing. I'll have to change how I approach situations and try to get further. Pros, you're a superhero, you're in a movie, you've got to save your girlfriend, music is fun, adult mode. Cons, learning curve took me a few, not sure on all collectibles, I should probably read the manual. I haven't figured out how to stay in VFX mode for a long time, maybe I need to upgrade my powers. This one is definitely better than Silent Debuggers and Tony Hawk. UN Squadron is a masterpiece and I'm a sucker for shmups, so it sits below that. Thanks for the pick, Dan. Can't wait to play. And then he guessed What Remains of Edith Finch, Windjammers, and Whoopo.
Yep. All of those seem extremely likely for you, Chris.
I will say that I did consider Windjammers because
that game's so fucking fun.
It looks fun, and I've never actually played it, so that is indeed a thing. Let's see, what else have we got? We're back at Dinosaur Story. No, it's just a lot of people guessing what my W pick is going to be.
I am not playing We're Back at Dinosaur Story. I'm just putting that out there now. Okay, good. Good to know.
Chronodin. Okay, so I haven't gotten to play it, and I don't have a working GameCube, so I would have had to set up alternative means. But here are my thoughts based on my memories and watching some gameplay videos. The game is successful because of the astounding amount of style it oozes out of every cel-shaded pore. The animation is outstanding, and the graphics were perfectly suited to the limitations of the hardware at the time. I remember the game being fun, but I also didn't get very far and didn't stick with it too long. I feel like I remember the gameplay being a little on the simple side. I would absolutely love to see a remake of this. I would want it to stay 2D, or at least mostly 2D, with maybe some 3D elements. But this game with modern technology and sensibilities could be incredible. We've learned a lot of lessons in the past 20 years. Yes, it's been that long. And granted, the industry has developed some really bad habits. If the remake has loot boxes, multiple random currencies, or uses cards for power-ups or abilities, I might throw up. But there's a lot of crap we've cut through at this point in gaming history. That said, one thing I'd really want to see from a remake is that it feels like the game should move faster. Not all the time, because the time-slowing features of the game are crucial to its identity, but overall it just feels like Joe moves a little slower than he should. Also, I'll come out and say it. Playing as regular Joe isn't fun and should just be left out of the game. We want to play this game to be awesome and powerful and do cool stuff, not to manage resources. That's an interesting thought.
That's a fair point, yeah.
I would say at the very least, make the VFX meter last longer from the get-go. You can expand it and whatnot, but I think if you just abuse it to death, you should turn back into Joe temporarily. There should be that consequence for it, but also I do think it should be longer. I think the VFX meter should last a lot longer. Maybe just right off the bat, 1.5 times it.
Yeah. For sure.
Right. Well, that's our listener feedback. Thanks, everybody, for playing along with us in the Super Series. And now it is time for my pick for the letter W, which I sincerely doubt is going to top any of the charts here, but it's a game that I really want to play that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. And we're going to be talking about Wizards and Warriors 3, Kyros Visions of Power for the NES.
All right. That is a long thing to type in. Wizards.
You can just write Wizards and Warriors 3.
And Warriors Trace.
I love the Wizards and Warriors games. The third one is super interesting. It's a very hard game. I've never beaten it. I've gotten to the last boss, and it is an unforgiving game with no continues. So,
but there are save states.
There in the modern day, there are save states. Yes, indeedy do. So, we'll see what I can do about that. I really want to sit down and see if I can finish this again, because this is an interesting game. It's pretty rough around the edges, and as far as I know, its development was kind of rough, and it left things open for a sequel that unfortunately never happened. But and now the whole franchise is owned by Forever Entertainment, who has decided to do fuck all with it for the last 30 years or whatever. They're just sitting on it, waiting for somebody to pay them enough money to use it.
Which probably isn't going to happen. Man, I don't know that I've ever played this one.
It was late in the NES.
Yeah, no, I know for sure.
And it's definitely the least played of all the Wizards and Warriors games. I mean, maybe X for Game Boy, but I still think fewer people wound up playing this one. And it's a super interesting game. It's got a really interesting soundtrack. There's like a guild system. It's a full-on Metroidvania. Like it's not stage based like the first two games are. This is an open world exploratory thing. Really interesting.
Do you change between characters in this one?
No, you're always Kyros, but you join different guilds. So you can join, like you get the Knights Guild where you get to have different knight abilities. The Wizards Guild where you can turn into a wizard, or use wizards. And the Thieves Guild where you get to play you get to be a thief. But you have to complete tests in order to obtain those guilds, and those tests can be quite difficult.
That's sounding more familiar. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to... I think I've definitely played through some of it. That sounds familiar. Or maybe I just know that because I just know it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. All right. Good pick, man. I'm excited.
Thanks. I am too. And again, I don't think this one's going to top the charts for anybody, but I know for a fact it's not a bad game. And I'm very excited.
I don't know. Maybe it's a dark horse. Maybe this will be... the top game of all time.
It definitely won't win in graphics.
No,
it's ugly,
that's for sure.
But I can tell you right now, this is not as good looking a game as a UN Squadron or Viewtiful Joe or some of the other ones we played.
All right.
With that, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some week-old news, what's happening at Stone Age Gamer. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new in the gratuitous rainbow spectrum at StoneAgeGamer.com.
First up, whales. They're great. Who doesn't love whales? Especially flying ones. I mean, well, it turns out that floating orbs don't like flying whales at all, which is why it's up to you to jump on them to protect your very one flying whale in skies above, the latest from Flynn's Arcade Publishing. Does this weird concept with even weirder controls have what it takes to keep your attention and earn your dollars? Find out in Stone Age Game Review, Skies Above.
Next, GameCube games are coming to Switch too, and Dan, being strangled by tiny word counts, is coming up with games that he wants to see on the service most, and reusing the same dang thumbnails to do it because he simply cannot be bothered to come up with something new. No, not Dan. He's a very busy, very powerful man. He can't be spending his precious time creating interesting, eye-catching thumbnails. Anyway, this time around, he's picked a trio of games that I think are real contenders for the service. Actually, that's a lie. I think one's a shoo-in at some point, and the other two are maybes at best. But what do I know? Nothing! Other than that you should read NSO GameCube Wishlist Part 2 by Dan Ryan.
I thought it would look weird to have a different thumbnail.
You put characters from the games that you're talking about in that specific one on each thumbnail.
Okay.
You can't just use the same picture over and over again.
Do what I want. Finally, if you were alive for the 16-bit console wars, you know that Mortal Kombat was a huge turning point for the Genesis. After all, it had the blood and arcade-accurate fatalities, while the Super NES game was censored to bejesus and back with sweat instead of gloopy fountains of gore. But was the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat actually a better game? Now, there might be more to this argument than meets the eye. There's Transformers in one of them. Get the lowdown in 16-bit brawl, Mortal Kombat.
For all this and more, be sure to check out the gratuitous Rainbow Spectrum under the blog section every Wednesday at stoneagegamer.com. All right, everybody, we're back. We are going to talk about what's new at Stone Age Gamer. And again, it wasn't a super busy week. We did have some technical difficulties, but they're over now. That's what I have to talk about.
That's it.
Yeah, seriously, there just wasn't a whole lot going on at the shop this week, as far as I know. I think maybe Memcard 2s showed up, and we're like trying to work our way through processing the insane amount of orders on them. I successfully championed not doing pre-orders for the Memcard Pros anymore, because we always get these dates and they never stick.
Right.
And then we get all these pre-order cancellations. And just the amount of man hours it takes to properly cancel all those pre-orders. Like, it's not like it's, I want to say, like, if we get like 1,000 orders, we'll wind up with like maybe 30 or 40 cancellations, which is, it's a relatively small percentage of the orders that we get. But on the same token, like, processing every single one of those things is man hours. It's not like I just click a button and like, there, it's canceled. Like, we have to do a whole bunch of stuff for returns, because we have to make sure that no matter who is picking orders, they see that this pre-order was canceled and don't accidentally ship it out. And it's a whole thing. It's a pain in the ass. But anyways, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Right in the ass. But,
right in the ass.
But yeah, we're not going to be we're going to skip on pre-orders for the next batch and see how it goes. But anyway, that means it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in, for Davidson is here in the house. And week old news.
Is that the name of this episode? Davidson is in the house.
Probably should be.
I really feel like it kind of has to be at this point. You've yelled it 4 or 5 times now, I think.
My throat's actually a little sore now. I think I was going to stop.
And I'm not complaining. Like, don't misunderstand me. This is not a complaint about what's happening.
It was Hulk Davidson, right? Davidson is the name?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's where we are. Anyway, hi, welcome to Week Old News. We're talking about all the news that was new a week ago. And first up, it's Thursday. So I might not have as many news stories yet. Friday hasn't happened yet, but
right.
Let's see. Nintendo Life reports accessory manufacturer Genki responds to Nintendo Switch 2 lawsuit.
They basically say, kiss our ass.
You may have seen that Nintendo recently filed a lawsuit against us. We're taking it seriously and working with legal counsel to respond thoughtfully. What we can say is this: Genki has always been an independent company focused on building innovative gaming accessories for the community we love. We're proud of the work we've done, and we stand by the quality and originality of our products. While we can't comment in detail, we're continuing preparations to fulfill orders and showcase our newest products at PAX East this week. We're grateful for the overwhelming support we've received so far. We'll share more when we can, but for now, we're staying focused on doing what we do best, building gear for gamers.
Yeah, right.
Here's the thing. You basically leaked the physical shape of the Switch 2.
Yes.
Like
100%.
According to the article, in Nintendo's court documents, the company claims that Genki infringed on its trademarks after it, quote, demoed and promoted unauthorized purported mock-ups and renderings of the Nintendo Switch 2 and its accessories. This, Nintendo claims, was, quote, designed to capitalize on and appropriate the public's anticipation for the release of Nintendo's next-generation console. Like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guess what? This is the Switch 2. We're showing it off before Nintendo themselves, and there's going to be no repercussions for this at all
whatsoever.
Like, guys, I get it. You make accessories, and you wanted to get that stuff out there, but like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Did you not see this coming? Did you not think that the most litigious company in gaming wasn't going to come after your ass for spoiling the Switch 2? Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nintendo... Look, sometimes Nintendo shouldn't sue the people that they sue, but this is one of those things like, I don't know if I was putting out a product and I hadn't shown it off to the public yet, and then one of our trusted partners was like, yeah, this is what it looks like. Check this shit out. Like, not even as a leak. Just fucking out there in the public. Just like, here it is.
This is cool, right?
On the show floor. Check this shit out. Like, I think I'd be pretty pissed, and I probably wouldn't want to work with that company anymore. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like a pretty dumb idea on Genki's part. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not what you want.
It's not what you want.
No, it's just not what you want.
But speaking of what you want, Nintendo Life reports Ecco the Dolphin is making a comeback with remasters and a new game.
I was so excited. I mean, I just took my dick out right away and was like, oh, buddy, you are in for a treat tonight.
So
Stop it!
This is interesting to me.
Ugh. They're horrible games.
There's like a countdown for like a year from now.
I know. Like, stop. This is fucking absurd. For Ecco the Dolphin, that game sucks. It does. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone who likes that game. You're objectively wrong. Game is awful. It makes no kind of sense. It's fuck. Jesus. We're going to remaster it. And the original creator is involved. Oh, is he? Good. He did such a good job the first time around. Ugh. So angry.
Here's what I want to know. They're talking about this third game, and I want to know if it has anything to do with Dolphin Quest. Did this game ever come out? So I'm doing just a little bit of research here. Dolphin Quest.
Little Googling?
No. That's not this. This is a different thing entirely. So, what I'm getting at here is, back in, where was this? 2021, for the Intellivision Amico's E3 presentation, GameSpot reported that Dolphin Quest from original Ecco the Dolphin team revealed during Intellivision E3 2021 presentation.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I vaguely remember hating that. Like, all of those words you just said made me real angry inside.
I have to wonder if this is similar situation to Breakout Beyond. If this is like, you know what? Intellivision Amico's never coming out. I don't know that this Dolphin Quest thing... There was a Kickstarter?
Yeah, but
Dolphin
it failed,
Quest is not Amico
right?
exclusive, slated for Switch, PS4, Steam, Kickstarter set for 2022, currently in pre-alpha. Let's see. Dolphin Quest. LPHIN. Quest. Kickstarter.
I'm typing this in. I don't want this in my search history, but I'm doing it anyway.
Dolphin projected. Did this even happen? I don't know that this even happened.
No, the Kickstarter failed. I know that.
I can't find a record of the Kickstarter. I can find it being talked about, but I can't find this the actual Dolphin Quest Kickstarter.
Do they keep it up after?
Usually you can find information on failed Kickstarters. I don't know that the Kickstarter even happened.
I mean, hold on. No, Kickstarter. That's the Dolphin Projector.
Yeah.
No. Houston, we have a dolphin. I don't care anymore. I've now gone way deeper into this than I want to. Look, the game, if it failed on Kickstarter, why are we doing this?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It was a spiritual successor to Ecco the Dolphin, but now it's going to be an actual Ecco the Dolphin. So those tens of fans are going to be like really excited about this.
I mean,
I do find it interesting that nobody's talking about the Dreamcast Ecco the Dolphin game. They're just talking about the first one in Tides of Time. And I remember also equally liking and being confused by the Dreamcast game. Like, it was a pretty good game.
It wasn't. Objectively, again, I'm sorry. I love you.
Okay, let's see. Annunziata did launch a Kickstarter for a spiritual successor in 2013 that sadly failed to get off the ground. Let's see. Kickstarter for Ecco the Dolphin successor sinks beneath the waves. Only $55,000 raised of a $665,000 target. Woof.
Yeah, not even close.
Gracious me.
That's telling you everything you need to know.
So I wonder if this new game they're talking about is, in fact, rising from the ashes of Dolphin Quest. Because apparently these folks have been trying to get this off the ground for a while. But maybe with Sega's backing, they'll finally make it happen.
I just don't understand why. What is this guy's obsession with dolphins? Just do something else. Like,
I think there's a good game in there. Like, I like the original Ecco the Dolphin to a point, but it's so weird. It stops being fun at a certain point.
Well, it just doesn't work. Like,
yeah,
it's just a bad game that is fundamentally broken. Like, it just doesn't fucking work as a game. It doesn't make, none of it makes any kind of sense.
I think it just needs a map, and that'd be good.
But, like, I mean, ugh. Whatever.
Anyway, I think that's enough torturing Dan with Ecco the Dolphin. Moving on.
And somebody's going to buy it for me, and I'm going to have to fucking play it, and I don't want it.
Right you are.
But you guys are assholes.
They're going to buy you the remasters too. So
I know.
Have to play the first two again.
I know, and I don't want to.
And I'm genuinely sad we're not remastering Ecco Jr. Let's get them all in there, huh?
Well, that's the one that I really wanted on there. Like, I'm upset about that one too, obviously.
Go Nintendo reports Nintendo crosses $100 billion in value.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Following continued Switch success, massive Switch 2 pre-orders, and excitement for the platform in general, Nintendo has now surpassed $100 billion in value. That makes it Japan's 7th largest company in terms of market capitalization, and it's just a couple of billion off from sliding into 6th place.
Wow. Who's above it? Or does it not say? Okay.
It doesn't say here.
Okay.
Let's see. What did we say this was the 6th?
7th.
The 7th largest. Let's see. 10 largest companies in Japan. Let's see. Number 1 is Toyota. Number 2 is Mitsubishi. Number 3 is Honda. Number 4 is Itochu. I don't know that one.
They're a
trading company.
Okay.
Number 5, Nippon Telegraph and Telephone.
Okay.
Number 6 is Mitsui. And number 7, according to... Oh, this is the 2022 Fortune list. This isn't updated at all.
Garbage. Why even... Jesus Christ. Evan,
Wikipedia.
edit this bullshit out. Fucking fake news.
Wikipedia giving me this absolute nonsense here. Yeah, what are the... let's say 2025. Can I get that? Biggest Japanese brands and companies in 2025. See, this one has... this was from February, so Nintendo is down to 10. Is there something more current? Come on here. FinanceCharts.com. There we go. Modec, Toyota, Sony, Mitsubishi, Hitachi, Keyence, Fast Retailing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Wild. Anyways.
Cool.
Good for Nintendo. Way to make a whole butt ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, knock it out of the park, man. Can I have more Kid Icarus or Punch-Out, please?
Please and thank you. Destructoid reports Pal World loses fan-favorite feature in fight against Nintendo. So, look, I get that this game is not becoming... is having features taken out of it. But, at the same token, this is similar to the Genki situation. Like, this game was made very specifically to evoke Pokemon. Like, I don't even think they were trying to hide that fact. Like, hey, look, we made a Pokemon-looking game for something else. This looks like Pokemon. We're going to make this game. It's going to be different, but it's going to be very much designed to evoke Pokemon. And they thought that that was a good idea. Like, we're going to go out of our way to make something that looks as close as we can get to legally distinct from a Nintendo property, the most litigious company in the frickin' business. And it just kind of have to... you'd really just have to wonder why they thought that was such a good idea.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah. I get it. I know there's fans of Pal World, and maybe Nintendo is going a bit too far. But at the same time, they were just like, oh, look, a bear. I'm going to poke that thing with a stick.
Yeah.
And, like, it seemed like everyone around them was just like, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Maybe
like,
don't do that. Or at least get a bigger stick.
Yeah. Like,
get further away.
Remember Digimon? Like, you can do things that are derivative of Pokemon and still make it your own. But it's like, these things are, like, discount store versions of a handful of Pokemon. Like, the creatures in there. So, like...
You guys went in there with a twig. You should have, at the very least, had a jousting pole.
Gonna go after this thing, even if they're not doing it in the most nice way possible. Like, since when is... Look, I love Nintendo, but since when have they been nice in court?
Yeah, come on now.
I saw this dumb thing. I was doing something on Twitter for Stone Age Gamer, and I saw a post from that fucking moron Grums. And it's like, the Nintendo you love is dying. The Doug Bowser said that woke is good and DEI is great, and they're suing Pal World in nasty, disgusting ways. Like, this is... Do you not remember the 80s? Do you not remember how Nintendo got where they are in the first place?
Yeah, right.
They didn't do it by being fucking nice.
Yeah. There are no ethical billionaires here, kids. Sorry. They don't exist.
I am always first to say that when it comes to the big evil corporations, Nintendo is pretty close to being neutral. Like they're not that evil, but they're still a big fucking corporation.
But they're still a giant fuck-off corporation that's going to do giant fuck-off corporation things.
They've got $100 billion in the bank, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Sorry. But also,
what was it? Doug Bowser came out recently and said he made this statement that no, diversity is very important in game development because it gives different worldview perspectives and helps make games more well-rounded, or some completely innocuous statement like that. Which, of course,
God forbid,
the pitchfork is like, no, DEI wokeness. Like, holy shit, diversity is a good thing in art.
No, it's not, Kris.
When you're trying to appeal, I want a bunch of white audience.
Chicks with huge tits and armor barely covering their nipples, no matter the situation. Fighting a dragon? Barely cover those nipples, hon. Off you go.
God damn it.
What I want from my games. I want them to mimic my real life.
That's what I want Mario wearing.
That's 100%. I mean, not for nothing. How much better would Mario be in, like, the fucking, like, hot chick fucking idol RPG armor?
Well, we've already seen Mario's nipples. They were in Super Mario Odyssey.
That's fair. But calling all artists, specifically those on our Discord channel, if you would like to put Mario in hot chick armor, I mean, seems like a good idea.
10 out of 10. All right, push Square reports.
And then make a game out of it and see if Nintendo has anything to say.
Yeah. Call it Super Mario something. Like, just...
Yeah, just... Pretty okay Mario. Not super. This
is a story
Mario.
that shocked and amazed me, but the more I think about it, the less it does. Push Square reports good guy EA resists temptation to raise PS5 game prices to $80 for now.
It's like a fucking Onion art headline. Good
Seriously.
guy EA. Ugh.
Quote, at the end of the day, whether we're doing something that costs $1 or we're doing something that costs $10 or we're doing something that costs $100, our objective is always to deliver incredible quality and exponential value to our player base.
God, stop it.
Android Wilson said. No, it's not. It's absolutely the fuck not. No, that's a Steph Sterling bit. Android Wilson. I didn't make that up. Don't give me credit.
No,
but yeah, no, that's not the EA thing. Incredible quality and an exponential value. No,
exponential value.
Who
knows where the value ends, Chris? I don't.
When I think of EA sports games, I do not think of incredible quality.
Oh, I do. Just absolute
and I do
perfection.
Think about them.
I'm thinking about them right now. I was thinking about them like that story Evan told.
Oh boy!
Next thing you know, the bear's following you home. Like, oh shit! All right.
Yeah, the thing is, EA already monetizes the fuck out of their games.
No,
so I'm sure.
They're providing value, Chris.
The very instant they think they can get away with $80 games and like $80 and then charge you for more DLC and microtransactions and loot boxes and season passes and early access and all that stuff. As soon as they think they can get away with that, they absolutely will. Because EA is fucking awful.
They really are. They really are.
Speaking of awful, and I guess awful's not really the right word here, it's just one of those headlines that kind of made me shake my head a little. Nintendo Life reports Donkey Kong Country Returns HD has sold over 1 million copies on Switch.
That seems interesting because it's not a good version.
It's not that it's a bad version, it's just so much less than it could have been.
Yeah,
without a whole lot more effort, you know? Like, the game itself is very good, and this is a very good version of that. But it should have been more, you know? And, so it's...
I mean, you Nintendo fanboys, you just you'll lap up whatever.
I didn't even buy this one. As much as I'd like to replay Donkey Kong Country Returns in HD with regular controls and not have to waggle to roll, I just couldn't justify the $60 price tag. It was seeing how much of a low-rent affair it was. Like, if this was a really nice remaster, maybe they added, like, a touch of new stuff. They did add the 3DS stuff, but, like, if it looked really nice and it ran perfectly smooth... I would have considered it. I would have thought about it a lot harder. But this $60? Like, I paid this. I was.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get to the. I think I got Tropical Freeze as a gift, but like that one, I felt was worth the price. If you didn't already have it on Wii U, then that game is worth that much money. Right. This one, on the other hand, is not quite as good as Tropical Freeze, and it's also like. Doesn't look as good as Tropical Freeze. Like, that was the thing. You have this benchmark of Tropical Freeze now. So if you make an HD remaster of this older one that looks really similar but still not as good,
that's going to stand out.
A little bit. I don't know. I'm excited about Bonanza.
Yeah, as well you should be. Game looks great.
This real sexy man's going to buy it for me, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. Mm.
Last but not least, Go Nintendo reports Switch sees first ever drop in annual player users. Switch 2, here we come. So Nintendo just shared their Q4 fiscal year results for the fiscal year 2025. And with that comes a breakdown of Switch players. The chart above in this article shows for the first time ever that the total number of Switch owners playing annually has decreased, dropping to 128 million units worldwide. Remember, this figure includes anyone who turned on their Switch to play something in the last year. 128 million active players out of 150 plus million owners is still an incredibly impressive number.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The million player drop now... That's a weird sentence, but the million player drop now doubt indicates that... That's weird. Anyway, indicates we're past the Switch peak and some players are ready for a new product. Yes, that is very true.
Yeah, I mean, the hype for the Switch 2 is very, very real.
There's not a lot of crazy cool new stuff happening on Switch right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you've probably played your biggest games on the Switch currently, like...
Yeah.
And other than, you know, like, Mario Kart, there's not a ton of reason to go back to it, knowing like, even if you're a huge, like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom person, like, knowing that you can get an enhanced port relatively soon, like, all right, well, I'm done playing this one now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
like,
just wait.
Obviously, people are going to play Prime 4 on Switch because not everybody is going to be able to get a Switch 2. But
Sure.
also, anybody who has the option is probably going to play Prime 4 on Switch 2. Like, that's
that just makes sense.
That's kind of where this is going, and that's okay. Like, you can't minimize this thing's run. This thing has had an incredible life. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, it really, really has. It's been a really, really impressive system.
Hard agree.
I don't quite get it as much as everyone else does.
I just love it.
I don't understand why people love it so much more than they loved other consoles. Like, that's the thing, because, like, I think it's a really good system. I don't see what makes it so much better that people are like, oh, this is the one that brought me back to Nintendo. Like, I don't see that, but, like, it's okay that I don't.
It turns on and immediately works. Like, it's just a zippy little thing, gets me in and out of my games ultra fast. Yeah. And then I can pick it up and play it on the toilet.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, with the other game systems, I always had to move the toilet into the living room, which was really a lot of work.
Or just shitting on the carpet, and Karen hates that.
Right?
She understands, but she does hate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, I mean, I get that you have to do it, but do you have to do it?
All right, that wraps up week-old news. We're going to take ourselves another quick break, and when we come back, it's time for the checkpoint, where Dan and I will be talking about whatever the hell's going on in our lives. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. right, everybody, we're back and better than ever, and it's time for the checkpoint.
Checkpoint!
So, Dan.
Yes, Chris?
Did you see Thunderbolts?
Not yet.
Son of a bitch.
I know, I'm trying to go this weekend, but, like, you know, we've kind of had a week, and, you know, this weekend is Mother's Day, but Tiff is also working on Mother's Day, so maybe on Saturday, but it's also her mother's birthday on Saturday, so her mother's birthday is the day before Mother's Day, which is just fucking selfish and greedy, I feel. And Nana doesn't listen to this show, so it's okay. But, yeah, we have not seen it. I do know the spoiler because Marvel has decided, like, fuck it, let's just tell everybody.
Yeah,
like,
I don't really get that. Like, I feel like, I mean, I feel
month.
like they could, I
Give
understand
it.
it. I would even have taken a solid week, right? Because it's really not that big of a, it's not that big of a spoiler.
It's
because,
really
like,
not.
When it happens in the movie, you're just like, oh, fuck. I know exactly what she's doing. Because, like,
right
when that happens, but you don't really know what's happening until it's happening, you know? And then as soon as it happens, you're like, because, like, there's a little scene before that where you see what's happening and you're like, I think I know what she's thinking. And then you do. So it's like, it doesn't really ruin much, to be perfectly honest with you. But it is kind of like, you know, maybe wait a week. Yeah, it's like,
a
we were
week.
I think we were talking. I can't remember if we were talking about this here. But I know we were talking about it on Theater Near You. Like, it was the same thing with Red Hulk. They should not have put Red Hulk in any of the marketing.
No,
they should have just let that be in the movie, in Captain America: Brave New World, as the surprise. They should have just pumped up Leader the whole time. It would be like, here's the big return of Leader. Remember Incredible Hulk? Here he is. Leader is here, and it's going to be super interesting, and that's what this movie is about. And you know, you could show Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, absolutely, but they should have kept Red Hulk a completely
secret.
Quiet. And then a week after it, then you start, like, once it's been out for a week and people have been talking about it for a week, then you start putting Hulk on all of the marketing. Would have given the movie a whole second life, which I think that was what the plan is with this whole new Avengers thing. Like, yeah, if you put Avengers in the title, now all of a sudden it seems like a more important movie. But give it a week. It was doing fine. It wasn't doing like crazy gangbusters, but it's okay. Let it catch on with word of mouth because it's a really good movie. It's really fun. So the word of mouth would have been good to begin with, and then you show the world what the asterisk actually means after everybody's had a chance to go see it in theaters, and then maybe they'll go see it again. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I just don't have that kind of money and time.
Right. Well, and that's what I was going to say. You know, like, it's not doing as well as maybe they would hope, but motherfuckers are seriously broke right now. Like, shit is... Yeah, it's
not
fucking
easy
hard.
to get out to the movies. It's not.
It's just not. You know, like, I was driving through the fucking city the other day on my way home from work, and, like, I mean, everything in the city is always more expensive, but, like, the disparity is just even bigger now. Gas is so much more expensive, like, grocery prices. Like, I was driving by, like, a little fucking convenience store, you know, in the neighborhood that I work in, and they were advertising that they had milk on sale for $5.60. I was like, oh, fuck, man. Yeah, like, that's more expensive than Wawa milk. And Wawa milk is already expensive, you know? But
you're paying for the convenience.
You're paying for the convenience. And this was in, like, I don't work in the best neighborhood in Philadelphia, you know? Like, I don't work in Center City, you know, or fucking Fishtown or any of that shit. I work, like, in the areas that you're like, I don't know that we should go there when it's dark. So, like, you know, to see that at, like, $5.60, like, who the fuck is going to the movies there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, whether you tell me it's the new Avengers or not, I'm still not going, you know? And, like, it makes sense thematically with the story. The Thunderbolts in the comic, like, become the Dark Avengers, New Avengers, you know? Like, there's a lot of through line to all of that stuff. So, like, in retrospect, it's like, oh, well, that was kind of obvious, I guess. But, yeah, like, give it a little bit of room to breathe. Because I don't know anything else about the movie.
Yeah,
I know.
Just not going to say anything else because it's very fun and very interesting.
Yeah, like, I don't know any of the shit that, like, I know the Sentry is in it, and I know the story of the Sentry, and I'm excited to see how they handle that, and the stuff, does the Void show up, does he not show up, like, and how do they handle that kind of stuff, and, like, that's not spoilers, that's just, like, that's in the Sentry, you know, so, like, I'm really interested to see all of that shit, and I don't know any of the other stuff that happens, but, like, literally everywhere now, just on the radio and television, it's like, come see the new Avengers. It's like,
yeah, like, they officially changed the name of the movie to New Avengers. Like,
yeah.
Pretty wild.
That's not cool. I don't care for that.
Well, speaking of the city, I did take a trip to New York City to meet up with our listener, Matt, and friend of ours. We've been listening for ages. We've met him at a couple events. He's a super nice guy. He took me out to lunch. I had bangers and mash for the first time.
Oh, so good! I love bangers and mash.
Really
and I'm
good.
not a big mashed potato guy. Like, I prefer my potatoes other ways, but bangers and mash is good time.
That was really, really tasty. We spent a long time in the Nintendo World store, which was really fun. I wound up buying both of my kids new T-shirts that were pretty cute, and I bought myself a T-shirt that doesn't fucking fit.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because the sizing at this, and I knew it. I knew the sizing was wrong, but I thought that I could fit into an XL. I was like, if this looks like it might fit me. And it was a blue shirt that said Dodo Airlines on it from Animal Crossing, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, I want this shirt so bad.
Right.
So I came home, I tried it on, and, like, this is not an extra large. This is a fucking medium. Like, that's how big the difference is. And, like, I wrote in the Discord, like, that the shirt didn't fit. It's like, oh, it's a new gold shirt. I was like, not without removing my fucking ribs and organs. Like, no, if I stopped eating for a month, this shirt still wouldn't fit me. Like, there is no physical way for this to fit on an adult male's body that's not from Japan. Like,
that's not Dean. And I don't say that to be shitty. Dean is a slight built man.
He is, and this would be tight on him.
Like, and
I'm
that's
so angry.
Fucking crazy.
Because it wasn't available in any other sizes. All they had left were XLs, and I had other shirt options. I really wanted to get me a shirt, but I went with that one because that's the shirt I liked the most, and now I'm stuck with a shirt that doesn't fit, which makes me sad because it was $25. I didn't want to pay $25 for a shirt.
Now you've got a belly shirt.
Yeah, and just well, that's just it. It's long enough. It's just not. It's just too tight.
That's but so anyway, weird.
What I bought from there that I'm not unhappy with, I just have no idea where to put it yet, is a cookie jar. There is this like kitchenware set in the store that the artwork on it I just fell in love with. It's just this beautiful, like, watercolor looking Mario art that's just so it's gorgeous. And so I bought this ceramic cookie jar that had this artwork on it, and I don't know where to put it. It doesn't seem to go anywhere in my house. Right. But I refuse to put it back in the box. I just love looking at it so much. It's on my fucking mantle right now. Like, it just goes, I needed a flat surface to put it on. That wasn't like in the middle of the kitchen counters and stuff. I have no idea what to do with it, but I really, really like it. And you know, the Nintendo World Store it's just as cool as I remember. It's got a neat little museum section in the middle. Lots of Pokemon in there. Absolutely no Switch 2 presents. Not a mention, not a sign, not a nothing.
That's weird.
Zero Switch 2 presents in there. They sell Alarmo and, like, the Nintendo Switch Online controllers there, but they were sold out of both of them because I was like, I might have to buy an Alarmo while I'm here because I really want one.
How
so
dare
dumb.
you!
I really want one. I just can't justify the $100 price tag. But so I just wound up with the cookie jar and the shirts for the kids, and it was nice. But then we went to the M&M store, which was fine. I tried the peanut butter and jelly M&Ms, which I did not care for.
Okay.
They were really weird.
Have you had the peanut butter and jelly Reese's peanut butter cups?
Not yet. Those
they're
I'm a little
fucking
more,
weird.
I'm a little more interested in them because they have actual jelly, whereas the M&Ms were just like, this is an M&M that is flavored like peanut butter and jelly. So it was very odd.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. We left the M&M store, and then we went to the Hershey store, and that place was fucking sick.
Yeah.
The Hershey store is so much better than the M&M store. The M&M's one is like, it's neat. It's got a bunch of M&M stuff that's super overpriced.
Oh,
but then
sure.
The Hershey store is just, there's so much more in there. There's this Reese's peanut butter cup, make your own peanut butter cup bar.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
$25 for this massive peanut butter cup that you can put peanut butter cups inside of. It's fucking insane.
That would have been a better use of your $25 than the shirt that doesn't fit.
The shirt.
That's for damn sure.
That's for damn sure. There was they made milkshakes in there. Like, I didn't get anything because, like, it was all expensive and I was getting ready to leave. Because, like, that was my last stop before getting on the train, because I took the train into the city so that I didn't have to drive in and out of the city, which was fucking great.
Yeah.
But it was my last stop, and I was like, you know what I shouldn't do before getting on a train is drink a giant milkshake.
Probably not the best idea.
Every now and then on this show, I'll drink a glass of chocolate milk before the show, and things just don't go well for the rest of the show.
No.
So being stuck on a train for an hour and a half just seemed like a real bad plan. But on that hour, during that hour and a half, also, just again, big thanks to Matt for meeting up with me. It was a lot of fun hanging out with him. He's a super nice guy.
He's the fucking best.
Yeah. And I played Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door on the train in both directions. So I got a couple hours in with that game, and it's not hitting me the way that I would have expected it to. I don't dislike it.
Sure.
But I'm not like enthralled by it. I'm not like really excited to play it again. I'm playing it because I know that this is a beloved game and I should get through it. It was a gift. I'm going to get through it.
Right.
But it's like, I'm not overly compelled to jump back into it constantly. Like, it's, I don't understand it. It's just not clicking with me. It's a neat game, but it's not impressing the pants off me. I am still bepanted as we speak.
That's a shame. I so much prefer you without pants. Sans pantaloons.
The new laptop is fantastic.
Okay.
That, I got it set up in no time. It's lightning fast. It's working out great for me. I went and got my oil changed, and I took the laptop with, and I was just able to do all of the work that I would be doing at home, with the exception of video editing, on the go. It's a bit heavier, but it's a really nice laptop. I'm so happy I have it. And then
That's
I never
awesome.
have to deal with that UPS ridiculousness again.
Do you have a nice bag for it?
Yes. I stole a bag from my job at the FAA a while ago. It's a very nice bag.
Because, I am constantly on the hunt for the backpack that defines me as a person, and I haven't found it yet.
I'm still using the free backpacks that I got from being a GameStop / Game Crazy manager when they used to send us to those conventions.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I have a Wii one and a PlayStation one, and they're both very nice.
Okay. That is not what I'm looking for. The backpacks that I'm looking at, because I watch these videos and shit, and it's all like EDC stuff and that sort of thing. But I see a lot of these backpacks, and they're like, I think we were talking about it when we were looking at Switch 2 cases in the Discord, and it's like, I mean, this $450. What the fuck? I don't need a backpack. I'll spend decent money on a backpack, in the kind of the buy it for life idea of this is my backpack. I bought it and now I just have this. So I'll spend a decent amount of money, but to my mind, a decent amount of money on a backpack is $80. It's not $450. So I don't know. I gotta figure something out. Because I got shit I want to bring with me, but nothing I have really works well. And the MacBook that I have, I have the MacBook Air, I think, that I have through work, and that's the laptop that I take with me everywhere. And it's super light and perfect for what I have to use it for, but it just doesn't, I don't know. I'm just not happy with my backpack situation.
I get that.
Yeah.
I've never put that much thought into backpacks.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it too much. It's probably like
You
where
think about
where
it
it
enough
is.
for the both of us.
I really, really do. You know? But I don't know. It's a struggle. Or it's a first world struggle, to be sure, but it is a struggle.
So this morning, I had a doctor's appointment for my back. I'm still trying to get my back all figured out. But while I was out, I needed to get a new strainer thing for my sink. You know, because I'm contemplating getting rid of the broken
Right.
the garbage disposal situation. So I bought one of those little the things that goes in your sink to stop food from going down there, and I bought just the wrong one entirely. I bought one of the little dinky ones that you put inside a normal sink, but I've got a garbage disposal sink with a giant opening, and I was like, I should have bought a different one. So I wanted to go to the hardware store to pick one of those up. It was $5, easy peasy. But while I was there, I looked at edge trimmers, and I wound up getting a new one.
Ooh.
It's a battery-powered one, and it's a Craftsman. I was at Ace Hardware, and it was on sale for like $30 off. So I got a new one. It's one of those like long straight stick ones. Yeah, I've always had the more like shorter ones that are more on an edge, like more on an angle. This is one of the big long straight ones, so I don't have to bend over every time I'm trying to take care of the weeds.
Did you get a weed whacker or edge trimmer? Because you said edge trimmer.
It's both. I forget what it says on the box. So I think it just says trimmer, but
okay.
It's so the old one that I have is very dead.
Right.
It I went to use it I think this week, and it really just smacks the weeds around.
Yeah, we talked about it. It convinces them to lay down for a bit.
Just tenderizes them.
Yeah, you lay down a little bit. Take a nap.
So this should do the job. And I also I used the I talked about the vinegar thing that I've been doing.
Yep.
Yeah. So this
going around with your Ghostbusters proton pack full of fucking vinegar. Yeah.
Very happy about that. So this one I haven't had a chance to use it yet. It's still in the box, but I was happy that I finally picked it up and that I found one for a decent price. I think it'll do the job that I need it to do, because I tried pulling out the trencher again, and like I don't know if it's just the dirt's getting higher or the sidewalk is sinking a little bit every year, but like so much of my sidewalk is just the trencher just doesn't work anymore because the ground is high, like a couple inches above the sidewalk, so like it can't get in there with all the shielding around it. Like it just can't get in there to do the job. So I mean, there's still plenty of space that I can use the trencher on, and I will, mostly in the backyard around the patio, like, and it just zips right through it, which is great. But for the rest of it, I really need something more like a trimmer. So I'm hoping that this one will really do the job. But I haven't had a chance to actually get out there and do the job yet. And I'm not going to be able to for a little bit, because this weekend, the reason we're recording on Thursday is that I'm heading up to organize my sister-in-law's garage, and I'm very, very excited about it.
That is very exciting. Like you're a weird person in that way, but it is quite exciting to get to do that. Every time I come out to the Jose Canseco Executive Annex, I have to walk through the garage to get here, and it makes me just so violently angry looking at the state of my garage. And I was like, I'll tackle it this weekend. That'll be perfect. No, fuck, it's raining. Oh, and it's Mother's Day and Nana's birthday. So, okay, shit. Not this weekend. Maybe next weekend I will get to it. Because I have a lot of projects that I want to get to. I'm feeling the woodworking urge is overtaking me. I've found a place to get a ton of pretty high quality free pallets, which is exciting, and I really like the look of like the DIY rustic kind of pallet thing. But in order to really do the projects that I want to do, including like building some organization into the garage and that sort of thing, I need to get a thickness planer. That is what I really need. And unfortunately, thickness planers are just outside of the budget at the current moment. Because it's, to get a decent one, and I want to try and stick, like, in the family of power tools that I have, because, like, as you get older, you typically get drafted, very much like Harry Potter, into one of the four houses. And I have found myself to be a Ryobi man. And I'm happy with my choice. I like my Ryobi tools. I like the interchangeable 18-volt battery system that they have, where you have just a bunch of batteries for all of the different tools. But they don't really have a thickness planer in that set. They do have an orbital sander that will do the job. It's just longer, and the orbital sander has to be done anyway after the thickness planing. So, I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm at yet. I have to, find a second or a third job now so I can save up money for a fucking thickness plate. Because, the ones I'm looking at are, $450, $500, and they're absolutely worth it for what they do and the accuracy and the speed with which they do their job. And it just makes everything that you then build that much more professional. Or professional looking, while still keeping that sort of rustic aesthetic, that kind of DIY thing that I like. So, I don't know. One of these days, I will get a thickness planer. Also, I just like saying thickness planer.
Thickness is a good word.
It's just a good word. I just like saying thickness planer. Do you know what a thickness planer is? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm asking.
I know what a planer is. I don't know that
Okay. A thickness planer, basically the same idea.
I think I know what it is. Let's see.
Yeah, you feed a board through it, and it kind of just takes a little bit off the top, but it does it evenly, right? Like, if I can get a hand planer, sure. But there's always that tiny bit of, the imperfection and the not so insignificant risk with me, because I usually approach these projects with a lot more drunken confidence than skill of whoop, took off way too much there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was out there looking at my garage earlier today because I'll get to that in a minute. I was out there looking at my garage because I'm ready to do my garage, but this was it became apparent that fixing Joanna's garage was, let's say, a lot more pressing than mine.
Sure.
So when a friend asks for help, you help them, especially when it's family. So here we are. But I have plans for my garage, and one of them is I wanted to take out the there's some shelving that's built into the wall right now.
Yeah. And
some cabinets above it. And I want to get rid of all the cabinets because they're just not great for storing stuff in a garage, especially high up. Because, I don't need doors. I need open space. I need thicker shelves. I just need more. It needs to be more, generally accessible. It doesn't need to be hidden behind doors, and the doors make the space smaller, So, but then there's this, wooden shelving that was built underneath it. And I feel like if I take two of them and line them up in front of each other, that would make for a nice workspace area. Because I don't have a flat workspace for doing things using my tools. And I'd like to build one in there. And I think I can use the wood that these shelves are built out of to do exactly what I want there. But I'm going to have to do that sometime in the not too distant future instead of immediately. The next 2 weeks are going to be dedicated to helping fix up that space for my sister-in-law. So hopefully she can do something as far as renting it out or just make better use of it because, she's in a tight spot and she needs the help. Right. So here we are. But tomorrow... So tomorrow I need to wake up early because first thing in the morning, I'm going to skip the gym tomorrow and instead just go straight for walking the dogs. My plan is to go up there tomorrow and then spend all weekend and just make my focus for the entire time just working on this garage. That's how big of a project this is, and I want the bottom half of the garage to be done this week. So the next week when I go up, I can just work on the second floor. That's what I want to happen.
Right.
And in order to do that, I'm going to need to get up there as early as I can tomorrow. So the kids have early dismissal, but Karen's going to take them up herself later. I'm going to go up earlier in the day. So I'm going to get up first thing in the morning and walk Hopper instead of going to the gym like at 5:30 in the morning, which I'm sure it'll freak him out, but he'll be perfectly happy with it. But the thing is that, Joanna's not, she was supposed to be able to have the day off tomorrow, but she can't. So she has to work. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go up a little bit later than I was initially planning. Like, not a lot. I'm going to aim to be there around noon. So instead, I can set up my new bed here. Because remember I said we got the new mattress. Yeah. We got the new mattress from her. It's one of those mattresses that comes all curled up in a box, and you're supposed to let those, if possible, you're supposed to let that sit for like 24 hours, expand it. We're not going to be here for a couple of days, so getting it done tomorrow morning is the perfect time to do this.
Yes,
so
it is.
I'm going to get the dog walking out of the way. I'm going to get done, the basic like closing tickets work that I need to get done in the morning done.
Yeah.
And then my friend Josh is going to come over and help me move the old bed out and then carry the new bed upstairs. And then I'll get that built. Hopefully shouldn't take more than an hour to just build a bed frame.
No.
And then just let that sit. And then when we come home on Sunday night, we get to sleep in a new bed. Happy Mother's Day to Karen.
That's very exciting.
I'm very excited about it. Yeah, it's Josh is a super nice guy, and I was talking to him about it at pickup today, and he was there to pick up the kid. He's usually not there. His wife's usually there. But Thursdays sometimes he's there, and I was just talking to him about my plans, and I was like, right now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get the bed upstairs because I didn't really know how I was going to go about doing it. I thought about asking Sean, but he was out of town, and I was like, I think Karen could help me do it, but like, she's not going to want to, especially not early in the morning. And Josh is like, how early in the morning? I'll come over and do it. I'm off work tomorrow. I was like, are you seriously? It's like, I've known Josh for a while, but I don't know him super well. Like, he's not a close friend. Like,
sure.
Me and his wife talk every day. Like, I'm close friends with Erica, but like, I know Josh and we've hung out a couple of times, but I'm not like super close. Dude just immediately volunteered to come help me. I'm like, I want to hug this guy.
That's awesome.
Like, he's a huggable dude. Like, this dude he's a big fella. He's a gym guy. Like, he's very buff. Like, he'll be able to take this upstairs by himself. I'm going to help just to make myself not feel horribly inferior. But like, no, this dude could bench press me, no problem.
Yeah, nice.
So it was very nice. It was a very, very nice act of kindness today that really just brightened up my day. I was like, this guy, I'm gonna give him a big hug. It was very nice.
Well, I'm gonna slide him a little reach around here.
Yeah,
see if maybe he really wants to come over and help then in the future.
Well, that was we immediately decided to try and convince Erica that the two of us were going on a date together.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to borrow your husband tomorrow. We're going to go out for what did he say? It was like a breakfast and beers or something.
Yeah. Oh man, if I know you, that definitely got over on everybody there. They were like, "Oh, Kris, yeah, breakfast and beers, 100%. That seems right up his alley."
She immediately knew that it was completely legit. Yes.
Nothing so I'm really looking forward shady about this at all.
Really looking forward to having a new bed. I'm so excited because I hate my current bed. I don't hate the bed frame, but it's going to be nice to finally have a king-size bed and, enough room to sleep in it. And also not a mattress that's not on an incline. So,
yeah, yay. No, that is a big, big improvement.
So what do you got cooking?
Oh, this week? Man, shit.
Yeah.
So other than, the medical drama with Tiff, we had additional medical drama with my Uncle Harvey. Ended up having to take him home from the hospital because he was there for about a week. And, they were like, I don't know, you're a little bit better. You want to go home? It was basically like how they put it to him. And he was like, yeah, I'm sick of this shit. So I ended up driving him home, and it was just kind of sad. Like, it was the first time that I've ever, seen my uncle in such a state of like, oh man, fuck. Really, Mother Nature and Father Time, they truly are undefeated. So, but it was nice. Like, we got to drive around and like just kind of bullshit and talk on the way home, which was cool because he's a good dude. He's had an interesting life. We had I was talking to my cousin, who I haven't seen in a number of years, but he might actually be coming out to Jersey pretty soon because I mentioned a little while ago that my Uncle Jim had passed away, which is my cousin Ryan's dad. But my Uncle Jim was the chief of police here in town in New Jersey, in Franklinville, New Jersey. And the police department contacted him, and they were like, all right, we know your dad had been cremated. We'd like to do a little ceremony thing, here at the police station. We'd like to, we're going to get like a plaque, like a memorial thing that we're going to put outside of the station. And, we'd like to do a little thing, and we'd like to invite, you and your family, and your brother, like my other cousin Jimmy, to come out. So my cousin might be coming out. I'm pretty excited to get to see him. Which would be really cool, like a kind of a shitty circumstance, but also kind of a beautiful circumstance at the same token, of like my Uncle Jim was an interesting cat, but he left a pretty lasting impression on the town, and he was pretty beloved, and it was like, all right, that's kind of cool. So like there's been a lot of like dealing with mortality this week that has been like, man, this isn't ideal. I don't care for this, but at the same time, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to really feel like myself again, minus my the dead nerves that are here on my right hand of still trying to work those back to life and trying to figure out things I can do of like trying to plan out these projects. We've got this whole backyard area that we've really, really fucking neglected over the last like year or so, right? The whole time that I've been sick. And when you just kind of let a backyard go for a little bit, it really starts to fucking go pretty quick, especially as you've got,
especially
4 or 5
have an
dogs.
Army of dogs.
Yeah, and no goats. I have no goats to fucking help with any of the housework there. So, it's a fucking disaster out there. So I started really looking at it and being like, all right, well, we could build a garden over here. And then the way that I get of like one project all of a sudden turns into like, here's the backyard oasis that I'm going to build with all of these things.
I mean, I know the problems you have with backyard projects.
Oh my God. So many backyard project problems. Serious ass backyard project problems.
There it is.
Yeah, I'll get there in a minute. But like you say, in order to get to that, I've got to get to the garage first, right? I've got to get that handled. And Tiff and I were talking about it of like, all right, when we clean the garage and really start to like, I have so much like scrap wood that I have to organize and just a bunch of shit. And we were like, all right, well, let's really start planning on developing the space in the garage in a way to where it'll be weird until we expand the Jose Canseco Executive Annex, but we want to kind of live with the garage with less space. You know what I mean? So we're going to kind of tape off in the next couple of weeks and try to organize around that, because I've got these really nice metal pegboards that I want to put up, and just a lot of like organization stuff that I've got going on in the future, which I am also weirdly fucking excited about. It's such a weird thing to be excited about because we're old men. But it's like, all right, man. I got out and mowed the lawn this week for the first time in like a year because I just couldn't do it over the last year. And that felt really good to get out there and try to start reclaiming the lawn a little bit. And like the kids never went out there with the trencher, with the edger. So that's I will probably get that done while Tiff is at work on Sunday. I'll go out there and really tackle that because it's like I never even tried It's a fucking disaster. It makes me so sad when I walk out there. I'm like, man, this looks like nobody lives here. Nobody gives a shit. And I do give a shit. I like a nice clean edge. And I live there sometimes. So yeah, it's just been a really fucking like mentally exhausting week. You know? It's just exhausting. It's been trying at best, but we did finish this week that I'm very, very excited about. We finished South of Midnight, and I gotta tell you, man, that game, outstanding game. Absolutely loved playing through that game. It is not a perfect game. I mentioned a little bit in the Discord, like one of the issues that I had with the game is, and why, like, if I had to score it, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10, right? Maybe closer to 9, but, you know, I feel like an 8.5 out of 10 is fair. The one big drawback with the game, unfortunately, is the combat system. It just gets really repetitive really quick. And while it's fun, right, the first couple of times you go through it, it really doesn't evolve throughout the course of the game. You get some upgrades, you get some new powers and stuff, but the basic gist of the combat is the same kind of over and over again. And the one part where I got disappointed is that you're going through all this really, really cool shit, like these really cool boss battles with really interesting characters, and you get up to the final boss, right? And I'm not spoiling anything with this because I don't want to. I know we have people that want to play the game, but part of the boss fight is that you fight. It almost falls into that trap of the room after room full of guys kind of trope that happened a lot in video games, where it's like, oh, I must be getting up to a boss fight because I'm just going through room after room of dudes, right? That's kind of what the boss fight at the end of the game is, of like, he just spawns a bunch of the enemies that you have been fighting the entire game, and the way you damage the boss is by fighting the same enemies you've been fighting this whole time in this somewhat underwhelming combat system. And it was like, man, that's kind of a bummer. Like that kind of leaves a sour taste right here at the end of this otherwise absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful fucking game. Outstanding soundtrack. The graphics are so, the art, not the graphics, but the art direction is so interesting and so cool. And I think what it was funny is you were mentioning earlier, the fucking dipshit Grums or whatever the fuck his name is. Which, if I had to bet, I don't think is his God-given Christian name, but maybe it is.
Mark Kern.
Oh, even worse. Mark.
I think it's Mark.
I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. Like him wailing and crying out against DEI and that sort of thing. When this game, South of Midnight, exists because of inclusion and representation. This is an incredibly underserved segment of gaming, right? This sort of the Southern folklore that is native to the United States, like all of these really cool, really interesting stories, are native to a part of the country where most of the people are not white. And to have done this game any other way would have been an absolute slap in the face and disservice to not only the story they were trying to tell, but the actual culture that they're representing. So this game flies 1,000% in the face of the anti-woke, right? Whatever the fuck that means to them. The woke is anything I don't like crowd. And the diversity and inclusion. And it's such a fucking shame. This is a great game. It's an awesome, awesome game. And like, I think I said it in the Discord, or maybe it was in just a different chat or whatever, but I feel like this game is a great first step in a franchise, the way the first Uncharted was the great first step in that franchise, right? Because the first Uncharted is not a perfect game. It's not a 10 out of 10. I don't think anybody would argue that it was, and I don't think anybody argued that it was back then. You know, but you saw the groundwork for where this sort of thing could go. And the idea of there being more South of Midnight, or even if they were to take this style and gameplay and sort of start to touch on other sections, like underserved, underrepresented sections, around the United States, there's so much interesting folklore that they could explore. It would just be really, really cool. The basis of the game, the weaver that your main character Hazel is, it could be anybody. You know, it happens to be a black girl in this particular story. It could be a Native American. It could be a fucking whatever. It really does not matter. This kind of, for lack of a better term, like character class that they have created in a video game term, really could be applicable to any gender, any race, and there's so many interesting stories to tell. I just absolutely fucking loved this game. I thought it was brilliant. So much so to the point where I started coming up with categories for the Golden Caveman Awards so that I could make sure I got to talk about this game. Because is this going to be my game of the year? Probably not. There are a couple of pretty big fucking heavy hitters coming out this year that, you know, Ghost of Yotai, Death Stranding 2, the Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, but maybe there's a chance. But, you know, I started thinking like, all right, well, I got to have a best soundtrack or best new character, all of these different things just so I could make sure I talk about this game because I just loved it so damn much, man. I really hope everybody else gets a chance to play it. It is just awesome. And
Cool.
it's only $40.
It's certainly an interesting game.
Like, I think you would like it. You know, I really do. I like I said, the combat is underwhelming. There is no question about that. The combat gets repetitive very, very quickly, but the story itself is just so awesome. Man, it's just really fucking great. So we finished that. And then we were like, all right, well, what are we going to start next? So we started Slay the Princess, which was gifted to me. We started that on the Steam Deck as well. And that game is fucking wild, right? Like, that is a Dan-ass game. Yes, it is. It is 100% a Dan-ass game. But man, like, so do you know anything about Slay the Princess? Like, have you seen videos and shit on it?
Nothing at all.
Okay, so it's sort of like a visual novel, right? But the interesting thing about it is that your job, right? You start the game and there's a narrator talking to you, and you are the voice of the hero, okay? And it gives you the backstory, and it's like, it starts telling you a story, like you awake in the woods, and you have to go do X, Y, Z, and the fate of the world rests on your shoulder. There is a princess in a cabin, and you need to slay her to save the world. And you're like, what the fuck, right? And then there's a bunch of dialogue options that you can go through. You click on the different dialogue options, it gives you some more of the story, you know, and you walk to the next thing. Right. And then on the next screen, you get to the cabin, and it gives you some more stuff, and you can kind of argue back and forth with the narrator, or you can go along with them. You enter the cabin, and it looks like a cabin. And in the cabin, there is a sword on the table, and you pick up the sword, and you go, there's a door, you open the door, you go downstairs, and the princess is there, and she is chained to the wall, right? And then it gives you a bunch of options to pick through. Very much in a, like, when we used to read Choose Your Own Adventure books. Gives you a bunch of options. And eventually you get to the point where you, all right, slay the princess, right? That's one of the options. And, like, so right here at the beginning, you're like 5 minutes into the game, you go to attack the princess, and the narrator is like, the princess quickly moves out of the way and hits you so hard in the jaw that you instantly feel your jaw break. She then catches you in the ribs, which you feel crack under the weight of her impressive blow, and you're like, what the fuck is happening, right? Like, holy shit. And you go through this fight, and, like, you end up stabbing the princess, like, in the chest, but she also beats the shit out of you. And the narrator is like, you have slayed the princess, but she has also beaten you to death, and you both die. And then the next day you wake up, and the narrator starts telling you the same exact story that he started telling you the day before. You awake in a wood, and blah, 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 and he goes through the whole thing. And then your dialogue options change to be like, wait, I think I've heard this before. And you click on that, and the narrator starts talking back to you of like, that's impossible. This is the first time I'm meeting you. And then a second voice starts talking, because you were originally the voice of the hero, and then there's the voice of the forgotten, right? And, like, all of this stuff starts to happen, and you make your way through the same gameplay loop, and you get to the cabin, but when you open the door in the cabin, now it's not a regular cabin inside, it's like stone walls, and there's a big mirror on the wall, and you like, I'm gonna go look at the mirror, and the narrator starts talking back to you of like, look, it's just a wall. There is no mirror over there, but your character goes and looks in the mirror, and you see your reflection. It's super weird. So then you go downstairs to slay the princess again, and this time she's, like, grown a foot. She has giant fucking devil horns coming out of her head, and it's like, what is happening? And then eventually you get killed again, and then you wake up, and the narrator starts telling you the same story again, and it's like, this is a fucking wild ass game, and it's so interesting and well written, and the art direction is so cool. It's like this really sketchy black and white artwork. It's so fucking wild. Like, I'm super duper into it. Tiff and I have started playing this. Like, this will go up in bed and we'll play it together, you know, just like on the Steam Deck, and like we'll cuddle and play Slay the Princess. And it's fucking wild, man. And I know it's out on Switch and like PS4 or 5. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can get it on whichever. But man, what a fucking interesting ass game. So thank you so much for gifting it to me. I am eagerly anticipating getting through the rest of that game, because I cannot wait to see where this wild ass story goes. It's fucking neat. And I think you would like it too. Yeah.
It does sound very interesting.
But then the last one that we started, and then I will shut up. The last one that we started as well, because we also wanted to check it out, and the kids wanted to check it out, and it was included with PlayStation Plus, was Blueprints.
Oh, I've heard a lot about this one.
And I kind of love the play on words there of blueprints, which is super fun, because it's a interesting, right. So the premise of the game is that your uncle dies and leaves you his mansion. But the mansion is weird in that the rooms change position every day, and there are 45 rooms total in the mansion. And in order for you to gain access to his fortune and get everything that he has left to you in his will, you have to find the 46th room in a 45-room mansion. And the rooms change every day. And when you start going in, every time you open a door, you're presented with options of rooms that you would like to build as the floor plan to this mansion. And certain rooms give you additional things, like, because you only have 50 doors you can enter, right? There's like a little footstep counter up in the top left of the screen, and every time you go into a door, that counter decreases by 1, so you can only cross a threshold 50 times. Except there are certain rooms that every time you enter them will give you 2 additional steps, or there are some that will give you 10 additional steps, or there are some that will half your steps when you go into them, but there's also a bonus to them. And then certain rooms, like there's a church, basically, that they don't call it a church, and I can't remember what the fuck they call it right now. But when you go into the church room, what the fuck is that called? Oh, God, that's going to drive me crazy. It doesn't matter. When you go into that room, you can only enter that room if you have money, because it takes away a coin each time you go into that room. Like, you have to make a donation to a fucking church each time you go in. It's really, really interesting. And the rooms are randomly generated, and the way that you lay them out and have to figure your way through this mansion to find all of this stuff, like, I don't quite have my head wrapped around it yet. We only spent about an hour with it, because then life just kind of kept happening around it. But this was a thing where, like, Tiff and the kids and me, we were all sitting there like, all right, somebody get the graph paper, because we're going to graph this fucking thing out like the way we used to do when we were kids and drawing maps, right? Like, we're going to graph this mansion out and try to get from point A to point B. And like, all right, this gave us a room that has 2 exits. So if we put this here, we can go up, and then we can go to the left, and we can loop back around. And how many steps is it going to take us to get to this particular thing? Because in the commissary, if you build the commissary, they sell items, and sometimes they sell fruit. And if you eat an apple, you get 5 additional steps. So it's going to take me 6 steps to get to the commissary, and I have 7, but I have enough coin, like, so you're trying to figure all this out, and it's like, fuck, man, this might be a little bit too much for me right now. But it's really, really cool. And there is a super addictive quality to it, and very much all right, just one more try. Let me just do one more run. One more. Which is how we just ended up, like, blasting through like an hour of the game and being like, oh shit, I got to go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to check this out and kind of see what it looked like. And it also has, like, a really cool art direction. It's a really pretty game. There's a lot of weirdness in the rooms that you go into, and I think there's a lot more symbolism that I haven't quite figured out yet. But there's a really deep, engaging puzzle game here that I think is probably going to win most of, like, the indie game of the year awards. Like, it was very obvious once Balatro came out last year. It was like, yep, that's the one that's winning. Or a couple years before that, when Vampire Survivors came out, it was like, well, there's the one. Like, we don't even need to worry about any other games that come out. It kind of feels like Blueprints is kind of in that same, like, echelon of indie game, and definitely something that I think certainly our listener base should check out if they have not yet, because this is a game for fucking all of us to kind of obsess over and discuss.
I was just looking up pictures of it. It looks very interesting. I've heard a lot about this one. I've definitely, a lot of people that I follow on the internet seem to be very interested in this one. So, I don't know, hopefully it winds up coming to a platform I can play it on soon.
I'm sure it will, man. It's so clever, and it's just, like I said, I feel like there is so much more there. Like, I feel like I have just barely scratched the surface for what is actually, like, going on in this game. And there's just, it's just really, really interesting. And there's a lot more to figure out. And just like Slay the Princess, like, I'm very much looking forward to jumping into that and trying to figure that out. But that one, it's a little bit harder because we have to get the whole family together to play it. Kind of the same way with South of Midnight. Game only is like 9.5 hours, 10 hours long, but it took me so much longer to beat it than it typically would have, because the kids wanted to be there for it. Otherwise, that's a game that Tiff and I just would have sat there and beaten like 2-3 days, Right. But yeah, really, really good stuff. Like, I've had a fun gaming week, on top of all this other, like, oh, shit. You know?
Yeah, I have unfortunately not had a fun gaming week because I've been, busy podcasting and whatnot. We recorded way back last night, and really, I just want to watch Andor. I just want to watch Andor. I'm 4 episodes in, and there's 7 out, and I just want to watch Andor. And I keep hearing that how much better it's getting as it's going. Fuck, I fucking loved season 1 of that show, and I really want to keep watching it. But I did actually play a little bit of something new. I spent a little bit of quality time with the demo for Shotgun Cop Man.
Nice.
It's pretty weird, as we knew.
Yeah.
There was no way it wasn't going to be weird. So it really does appear to be just what it looked like. It's one of those, like Super Meat Boy style or Celeste style. This is a hard platformer, but you control your character with a kickback from your various weapons.
Right.
And it's neat. The art direction's still really unsettling. I don't know that I care for it at all. In the demo, there wasn't a lot of... my complaint so far is in the demo, there wasn't a lot of interesting visuals going on. The music was the music was stagnant the whole way through, and the backgrounds were all the same. So it's not a super visually interesting game, even outside of its strange art direction. But the gameplay, it really just kept me all right, one more level. All right, one more level. It wasn't while I'm playing, I'm like, this is so fucking cool. It was just every time I'd finish a level and be like, all right, I can do one more. It just kind of kept me going. So I'm not absolutely in love with it, but I do think it's a really neat game, and it's well worth a shot. There's a free demo out there, so give it a whirl. Shotgun Cop Man.
I mean, it looks fucking wild.
It's definitely weird. You can get a couple other weapons, and they have different kickback functions, and it's neat.
It seems very clever.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's Devolver Digital, so it's fucking weird, but
yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, there's never been a time where I've played a Devolver Digital game and been like, oh, it's exactly what I expected. What a normal ass game.
Well, with that being the case, I'm all done. I'm full.
All right,
I'm ready for some bed. So let's wrap things up. That is our show.
Fresh
Join
out of
us
shit.
Next time for maybe Dean. I don't know. I talked to him 3 months ago about some idea he had for having some conversation on the show. I was like, I don't know, maybe in May, but I don't know. I haven't spoken to him in a while.
I was just talking to him the other day.
Dean,
I'm going to show up on Paper Cuts.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
There's a new Paper Cuts podcast now.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not called Paper Cuts though, right? It's something. It's not Bags and Boards. It's
that was my other one that I never did.
It is Between Two Panels.
Yes. I was wondering if you were going to get there. Yes, I will be on. I mean, I am going to struggle to not say Paper Cuts forever because that's just always what it was to me, and probably always will be. But we are going to talk about Jim Mahfood's original Girl Scouts graphic novel because it was my pick, and I was like, fuck yeah, we're definitely reading that. So, something for all of you to look forward to.
Neato. All right, well, if Dean doesn't come through, then I'm sure we'll think of something. And with that being said, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Eden, for making this show listenable for all you folks. I would like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.
You know, I was going to do something different for this week's blog, but I'm going to put the same fucking thumbnail. You
well, at this point, you kind of have to.
No, I don't.
What, are you going to leave the first two the same and then start switching it up?
Well, I was going to do fucking 8-bit blockbusters with Karate Kid because I just finished Cobra Kai, and I'm still going to write that, but I'm going to use the same GameCube thumbnail. That's what I'm doing.
I wrote about Karate Kid not that long ago, didn't I? Or was that years ago? I have lost the fucking plot. Let's see.
Shit, I don't know. Because if you wrote about it a while ago.
Yeah, I did a Stone Age game review. Less than a year ago. August of last year, I did a review of Karate Kid.
Okay. Well, I will move past that then. I'll figure out something else. I was going to do a review on, but like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to do a fucking review on excuse me, South of Midnight. Because that's not really a Stone Age thing.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, what other blockbusters do you have in mind?
I don't know. The one I was thinking in my head was Karate Kid. I'll figure something out. I'm not sweating it.
Yeah, I mean, there's
so many.
From.
Yeah, like there's so many. I'm really not worried about it.
I mean, I know you know the Batman Game Boy game. Not that Batman is a hot topic, but
right.
you could cover Top Gun in honor of
Val Kilmer's passing.
Val Kilmer's passing.
I might do Darkman because fuck you, why not?
Yeah, there you go. Batman Forever.
Yeah, well, there's so much to choose from. I'll find something. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it
either. Oh, and hell, do Karate Kid. It was a fucking year ago. Who remembers or reads my shit? Go for it.
That's fair, but no, I'll save that one. There's so many.
Yeah, there's also that Karate Kid movie coming out. So
yeah, I'll probably wait until then, or you can wait until then.
When is that?
Soon-ish. I think it's summer.
Karate Kid Legends is May 30th.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like July, but damn.
All right. Good times.
I'm excited for it. I want to see it. Like I'm curious as to where this takes the Miyagi verse, as it were. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't say the trailer got me all that excited. I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Yeah.
I've seen all the Karate Kid movies, right?
Yeah.
And Cobra Kai was ultimately great, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll write about the Warriors just because.
Well, there should be a game There should be a game called the Warriors, which is the same game but just with Wario.
It's just all a bunch of fucking like the Council of Kangs. It's fucking Council of Warriors at the end of it.
Warriors.
Wah. But like, and doing all of the lines from the movie, but like in that voice. Yeah. Like instead of Wario's come out and play, just
Charles Martinet to Wario the hell out of the entire thing.
Shit, love that. Anyway,
best idea ever.